MrBeast currently has 7 YouTube channels. Alongside that, I count 6 public-facing businesses. MrBeast's Burger and MrBeast's Shop being 2 of those 6. We'll jump into the rest in just a little second. And it's obvious that one person alone can't run all of these things. But no one ever talks about exactly how many people it takes to make an empire like this run. And I'm determined to find this out. So I'm gonna map out every little component that makes up MrBeast's business empire out in the currently empty diagram that you'll see on your screen now. Cool, so starting off this diagram, I put all of MrBeast's YouTube channels down on the left-hand side, and then I put his public-facing companies that I could find down on the right-hand side. So we've got MrBeast's Burger and MrBeast's Shop that I already mentioned. We've got his finger on the mobile app that he released last year. He also works as a business advisor to the company Creative Juice. Jimmy's got his own business investments in different companies. So for example, in this company Backbone that specializes in making controllers for mobile gamers. And finally, I found mention of this company, the Rubber Duck Company, in this New York Times article that apparently Jimmy owns. But I couldn't find any more details about what this company does, but it's on the list anyway. I'm thinking there must be an entity that sits above all of this that makes everything run. Knowing that Jimmy's from Greenville, North Carolina, I jumped over to the North Carolina Secretary of State website. And as we can see here in the search results of that website, we can see MrBeast YouTube Limited Liability Corporation started in 2017. So let's get that down in the diagram as having an impact on all of those things. I also found this company, MrBeast Crypto, that was started in 2017, but it's now dissolved, so we're gonna ignore that for the rest of the video. So how big is MrBeast YouTube LLC to be able to make all of these things run? This New York Times article said that back in 2018, MrBeast had a dozen people working for him. But in 2019, so a year later, that had grown to around 24 people. I've now found the most recent figure I can find buried in this New York Times article from May 2021, so 3 months ago, stating that MrBeast LLC now employs around 50 people in total. It gives us a pretty clear and recent understanding of the size and scale of the operation MrBeast is running. But it doesn't just end there. I've now gone on to learn that throughout his journey, MrBeast has partnered with various different companies to keep the wheels turning and to grow at an even faster rate. So for example, looking at his burger business, MrBeast Burger, I can see from this article that he actually partnered with this company, Virtual Dining Concepts, that came up with the idea and helped him connect with the 300 restaurants that sell his food menu. And he's got a ton of other partnerships helping him with his businesses and his YouTube content. I just want to remind you that it's important to remember, and it's a lesson I've learned while looking into all this stuff. Jimmy, MrBeast, started small and he built up and grew his team along the way. This wasn't an overnight success. Don't be overwhelmed by what you're seeing and where MrBeast is now. And don't let it discourage you from having your own ambitions. We've all got to start from the very first step and build and grow over time. And we can see from Jimmy's growing business over the years, that's exactly what he did himself. You can grab my Skillshare course for free by getting a 2-week free trial to Skillshare in the link below and get started building a proper business around your YouTube channel. Cool, so here's what you've been waiting for. This is what I've been sweating and working hard to get created. Here is the finished diagram of MrBeast's business. I found out that MrBeast is actually managed by this talent management agency, Night Media. And if we scroll down, we can see that their services are talent management, business strategy, and ventures. So I firmly believe that Night Media is heavily involved in helping Jimmy create his content, handle any brand deals that come to his channels, and also the mention of business strategy and ventures on Night Media's website, and an interview I actually saw from Night Media's manager a little while back leads me to believe that they are heavily influencing or maybe even coming up with a lot of the ideas of the businesses such as MrBeast Burger, MrBeast Shop that MrBeast has created. We can see the MrBeast Burger partner, their Virtual Dining Concepts, which deal with the infrastructure of that fast food business. And moving away from business and onto content again, MrBeast partnered with the production company Jelly Smack back in 2021, we can see here. They're going to take all of his YouTube content and repurpose it to put it on Snapchat and Facebook. So I've added that Jelly Smack partner to the left of his YouTube content to show that they're putting that content out on Facebook and Snapchat for him. And I've also added another partner, this company FilmRise that he partnered with back in January 2021. On the left of his YouTube content, FilmRise are in charge of taking his content and putting it out onto streaming and broadcast platforms. Don't know exactly what that means, but that's another partner there. So, a final count of the amount of people involved in MrBeast's business. MrBeast YouTube LLC in the middle, we know has around 50 members of staff working for him. Looking at Jelly Smack, I can see that according to LinkedIn, there's 918 employees working for this company. And I reckon around 30, 40 of those employees at least will be helping Jimmy with that content repurposing in some way or another. Virtual Dining Concepts seem to have around 55 employees on LinkedIn, and FilmRise have at least 82. So looking outside of that core 50, in total, you're looking at hundreds of people working for MrBeast to be able to do everything he does in his business ventures and also maintain the amount of content that he's putting out and to reach all the different platforms that his content is being put on. So as an aspiring entrepreneur, I've got mad respect for the hustle and the operation that MrBeast has built up around himself. It's seriously going to inspire me moving forwards. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more YouTuber business breakdowns in the future, and watch this video for a breakdown of all the income sources Ali Abdaal has built for himself outside of his channel as part of his whole business empire.